Hey cellos, in this video we're going to go over measures 43 through 51 for your Friday quiz in Sahara crossing. This is the big moment. It's the cello and bass melody, and it's also the trickiest part. Not only for the notes and the rhythms, but because we have to play a bunch of backwards extensions. So we're going to go over it one little piece at a time, and then at the end I'll put the whole thing together so you hear what it sounds like. Starting with the very first two notes, you notice we have an open A and then a B flat, and it says X1 for backwards extended. So while I'm playing my open A, I'm going to start stretching that first finger back. I'm going to tip it back on its side, point that elbow down just a little bit more, and make sure that first finger can land halfway between the top of the instrument and the first finger tape. So it should sound like Jaws when you play those first two notes. Okay, then when we switch over to the D string, backwards extensions tend to try to pull all your fingers backwards with them, so we need to make sure this G is going to land on the tape, or where G should definitely go. So my first strategy would be to play A, B flat, A, and then freeze on that G just to check it to make sure it's in tune. Now I have a fourth finger tape on my cello, so I can check it pretty easy. If you don't have a fourth finger tape, you can check your G with your open G. And by that I mean play your fourth finger on the D string, then play your open G, and see if they sound similar. Or you can even play them at the same time. And if your B flat pulled your G backwards, it'll sound kind of horrible. So make sure that's really in the right place. So I would do that a couple of times until you feel really confident with that. And then we can add in the next note, which is another trick. It's an F sharp, and we're like, well, that should be pretty easy. But if you've gotten used to backwards extensions, you notice that B flats and F sharps don't really mix together. And no, we don't have E flats and C sharps at the same. So flats and sharps tend to be separated, but in this song, they're not. So we have to remember to use our third finger after we play G, and don't accidentally play two fingers for F natural. So I would add one note to this. And make sure that I ended on a 3. If you need to take out the slur, you totally can. Just add it back in later, and you can play it separate bows. And then we should be able to play the whole measure. Try to get those slurs in there by the Friday quiz, but if they don't happen right away, that's totally fine. We have a similar problem. We get to measure 45 and 46 because we have a B flat backwards extended, and then we have a third finger for C sharp, so we have to make sure that high D gets in the right place, and we play 3 fingers for C sharp. This part should sound like... Now, you know, I told you in our backwards extended video that you can release that backwards extension when you need to play the rest of your upper fingers. And here is where I would really take that finger out of backwards extended position. It's really hard for me to reach third finger in tune and have my B flat held back. So I'm going to just let it come off the string. Not way off the string, but just release. So it sounds and looks like... So you can see my first finger kind of slid back up. I just have to remember the next time I play a B flat, stretch it back again, which happens in measure 47. 47 and 48 are the same as the first two measures. Then as we go down here at measure 49, this is 4 fingers on G for C, 2 for B flat, regular first finger, no backwards extension for A, and then open G. So 49 sounds like this. Then our rhythm in measure 51 on open D is quarter, eighth, eighth, quarter, eighth. Pretty easy. Okay, so that's all the tricky things. If you want to focus on dynamics, you can. We are going to start the beginning nice and forte, and you notice we have a surprise piano right here, and I call it a surprise because there's no decrescendo before it. So at 47, we're forte, and suddenly piano. And I'm suddenly going to use less bow so that I don't overdo it. So if I try to use a ton of bow for that piano, it's not going to come out very softly. CRESC is another way to abbreviate crescendo and have it written out instead of these lines here. This right here and this mean the same thing. So we'll start getting louder on this B flat, and we'll continue to get louder until we get to measure 52. So if I do the dynamics at 49, I'm using teeny tiny bows here and getting at least for right now. So just make sure that you can get the notes and the rhythms first, and then add those in if you can. All right, I'm going to play the whole thing from 43 to 51 so you see what it sounds like. Already got my first finger stretched back for my backwards extension, even though I'm going to start on open A. Ready, and rest, rest. Rest, rest. Rest, rest. All right, that's measure 43 through 51. Good luck practicing your main melody.